Well, hello everyone. Welcome to another round table from Oceans. Today we have two experts in the matter. The topic today is prompt engineer illusion or prompt engineering in general. So let me first introduce our participants today. So we have Andrea Espinosa. He's technical recruiting leader with a lot of experience in the industry. So Andre, any words you wanna
Just want to say that I'm super happy to participate in this conversation and thank you for having me.
Amazing. And then our second guest is Alejandro Duran. Alejandro is, I don't know, he has a very long resume, but he's an expert in AI, in cybersecurity, in data in general. He's been a teacher, he's been a CTO for a long time. So Alejo, we're very happy to have you. Anything else to add?
I'm really excited about to participate in this conversation. I think that for all the people that are actually consuming this podcast is just to try to educate a little bit and also bring a little bit more knowledge. That's what
Amazing.
it is.
Thank you. Thank you both for being here. So let's get started. What are we really seeing in the market? That's the first thing I want to ask. Like, what, from your role, from your perspective, what kind of conversations are we having with clients or with engineers or with people in general? What are you seeing as a global market perspective?
Alejo.
I mean, well, yeah, I have a kind of a exposure to a little bit of I think for the global ecosystem. So I think the major or the most important phrase I can give is that things are going really fast, and not only fast but actually more faster than actually the humans we thought about it in 3 or 4 years ago. So we need to adapt, right? So adoption in terms of the AI is really important. I think that the topic today is maybe sometimes we are not getting the focus that we are supposed to be, but actually prompt engineering is really important for a lot of things, not only because of the roles, it's because of the cost, it's because of the projects, it's because of the inversion, it's because of everything. So yeah, the one of the major things that we can have for
Mhm.
the very opening.
Andre,
Yeah,
and pivoting to that as well, since you're more into candidates and people, what about the role per se? Are you seeing a lot more prompt engineering titles, or what are the clients asking for? Are the titles relevant to what the clients really need, or it's just like a nice title or a nice role to put out there?
uh, I started seeing it maybe a couple of years back, right? And I think it was a very popular topic and job title a couple of years back when the AI exploded, right? I wouldn't say that is a extremely popular job title today. I do think the skill itself of prompt engineering, it's
Mhm.
still the most popular or one of the most popular skills within the AI field as of today. But I think a lot of companies, what they are thinking or talking about when it comes to AI, it's to understanding how they can actually use it, right? What sort of things they can implement. I think based on what Alejo just said, I think the AI world, it's evolving so extremely fast that people are not only trying to understand it, but also trying to catch up to it. So yeah, that it's sort of the optical I have.
And is this mere hype or is it something real? I know, I mean, the role exists, right? It's
That's-
prompt engineering, but is prompt engineering really an engineer or is someone that just knows how to speak to AI, right? I think that's the main difference that we probably need to ask and understand. And I think there's going to be a question for Alejo, but before you answer, that said, are people that are looking for for these roles are looking for transformation or exploratory projects, strategic, I mean, I don't know, automation initiatives? What is driving these roles out there?
I mean, and this is important question from you, Andy. From 2023, actually, the pro engineering was one of the majors actually titles looking for as a pro engineering, right? So pro engineer, let's say that was for 3 years ago. Right now, what's happening is we are getting into a transformation into the every single skill or every single let's say role against the AI is really key to have prompt engineer skills. So what happening is prompt engineering or the prompt engineer what we're looking for 3 years ago is maybe transforming into AI engineer, LLM ops engineer, and also AI scientist, AI data scientist, or AI cybersecurity engineer. So what happening is prompt engineering is part of all of them, right? It's a skill really important. It's a skill that's crucial for all these roles. So that is something that is changing a little bit, even though some of the universities maybe are getting these kind of careers related to prompt engineering. But what happening really into the roles is you need to have the skill, right? Whatever you are doing in terms of the technology with related to AI, you need to know what is prompt engineering, and you need to actually maybe have the upskilling for actually to maybe, or not maybe, but actually, because you need to convert this into a really KPI for your role. So it's important. It's part of the role for all the roles, but it's maybe not now like a prompt engineer unique, right? It's not like a role that maybe the companies, the industry are looking for, but maybe any skill. And I agree totally with when Ray what he's saying is an important skill, and we need to understand what is that skill, right? So I think this part of the podcast today is make understand to the public what it is and
And
how you can convert it.
that's very good. And Andre, do you see this skill more often now on resumes or on candidates?
I wouldn't say that I see prompt engineering or prompt writing as a skill in itself today. I would say that that was a very popular, not only skill, but job in itself, prompt engineering, back 2, 3 years ago. That today, I think what we understand, it's prompt writing is an essential part of any AI role, right? And so I think today companies are looking, maybe they are not 100% sure of the title in itself or the engineer in itself that they are looking for when it comes to an AI position. But what they are looking for is someone to become a bridge in between the natural human language and the computer languages that we are seeing as of today. So I would say that prompt engineering now, I wouldn't find it like that in a resume, but it is fair for me to assume as a recruiter that if someone is an AI engineer, it's because also they know how to write a prompt properly to communicate with the computer languages.
That makes sense. That makes sense. And it's a lot that it has changed because I remember, I don't know, 10 years ago, we used to see machine learning, right? That was the role. Now everything is AI. And at the end of the day, it's the same baseline, right? And machine learning is the base for AI, teaching machines how to speak, how to act, how to react. Um, so so is this a boom? Is this a trend? Is it a real need? Is it something that is necessary for companies nowadays?
I think it's really important. Well, two things. I will start with a few data which is important. For example, Gartner, we all know Gartner in 2024 report that actually more than 85% of the projects in AI didn't get to production. And that was because of the prompt engineering, right? So that was one of the main reasons. So this is important. And also McKinsey at the same time report that actually only the 4% of the enterprises that actually go to AI with a pilot or an NCP, whatever, get a success in AI. So that are important numbers. Why and why is that? It's because we talk about prompt engineering and we talk only about maybe questions, which is actually maybe not accurate term for using in terms of the prompt engineering, but it's really important. And I think this is the right step in order for us to maybe get a just a step back and understand what is a prompt engineering and what is inference, right? Which is two terms really important in artificial intelligence. So when you have a conversation with an AI, what is happening in real matter is you are talking to AI or artificial intelligence, generative artificial intelligence, right? Which is only part of the huge world of artificial intelligence. We need to actually give this to the audience. So once you have this, like ChatGPT, Gemini, Anthropic, Claude, X Labs, whatever, all the laboratory or technology you are using, what you are doing when you write things, right? You have this space in order to write things. What you are doing in this specific moment is what we call in engineering inference moment, right? It's an inference moment, and the inference moment is actually what is happening in the inference moment. You type a question what actually is not a question, which is an instruction, what is called a prompt, right? So in order for the people are hearing us to understand, it's not a question, right? It's an instruction. An instruction is a prompt. So what is happening is you giving a prompt or instruction to a model. What is a model? A model is an engine that actually is the one these guys or the ones that I already mentioned created for us, right? So that is what happened. So if you see, for example, Sonnet 4.6, if you see ChatGPT 5.3, Gemini 3.0, those are models, right? So models of artificial intelligence is what's happening, right? So you get a connection with them. When you start a connection with them, what is happening in the real matter in just really simple steps is you get this instruction, the model receives this instruction, the model create a token, and a token, we are not getting into this because it could be maybe complex, or maybe could be a topic for another episode. But the token, pretty much what happening is just like an exchange model that we have with the artificial intelligence, right? So they create this, they create then with pretty much the process in order for them to access all the data they have in period and then create your answer, right? So this is pretty much what is happening. This is inference moment, right? The prompting engineer is actually the strategy that you create in order for you to make instructions more accurate depends on the model. So what it means is if I have a model, for example, Gemini 3, OpenAI, or Anthropic, or Claude, or whatever the one LLM that we are using, is not the same prompting that we are using because I understand actually what is the structure of this specific model. So prompting, that is why it's prompting engineering, right? But engineering, the word engineering next to it is because you need to understand the structure, the architecture. So what is so important is because is at the end, if you make really good prompting, then you can actually elevate not only the KPIs, the capabilities, but also you can reduce cost, right? So if you are doing bad prompting we are talking about corporate, of course, right? We are not talking about day to day. I mean, it's not daily basis thing, but if we are talking about corporate, you can reduce a lot of tokens because at the end, the token is something that you consume every single time that actually you get a prompt to a model, right? So if we are talking, for example, just to for the audience to make an idea, the Bible have 700,000 to 800,000 tokens, maybe a million, depends on the version. So that is pretty much what happened with the tokens. So the tokens have a cost, right? So have a pricing, depends on the different laboratories you choose, right? So depends on that. Then the prompting you choose in order for give instructions to the model, that is the one that you receive this answer or the results. And at the end is very important. For company use is huge, right? So depends on the prompt engineering, you can reduce actually the capability or maybe the investment that you have in AI in 60 to 40%. So this is a great numbers. That is why the prompt engineering exists. Actually, there is this people actually dedicating their time in order to make the best and more efficient prompting to different models, right? So one of the things I would like to explain to the people who actually are
Perfect.
consuming the podcast. Yeah.
So Alejo, that's a great baseline. Brings me to the next question. I mean, this question goes directly for Andre. When companies use this title, I mean, what problem are they actually trying to solve? And also, is the role well defined? I mean, do they really need a specific role that has AI? Do they need a prompt engineer or they need an AI engineer that has prompting skills?
Yeah. So I think the role it's not well defined just yet, at least in the Latam market. I wouldn't say this is a very common job title within the Latam market, but this could be because of various things. It could be because the candidates themselves do not brand themselves as prompt engineers, but rather will brand themselves as an AI engineer, right? I think that's sort of what I am seeing. And again, what are companies trying to solve when they say they are looking for a prompt engineer? Again, I would go back to my previous answer when I say they are looking for someone to understand both worlds, the current or the legacy technology world that we had up until the AI came out and the new AI world. I think a lot of the positions are getting shaped as we go and as we move forward, as new technologies or AI related technologies are coming out. A lot of job roles are getting shaped and branded along the way. One more caveat within the Latam market, we typically, the trends that are trending in the most, let's say, or not advanced, but first world countries where a lot of these technologies are being developed, I think those trends hit Latam countries a little bit later in time. So that could
Okay.
be another reason why, this wouldn't be such a popular job title as of today. I don't think it's because they do not exist. I think it might be because they are getting branded a little bit different, or because prompt engineering it's part of a wider skill set they have, but not the only and sole skill they have. Yeah.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, thank you. And Alejo, you
Mm.
mentioned that being able to have good prompts saves you a lot of money, right? But my question is good prompting alone enough to build real solutions? Is it creating like real value? Where does it fall short?
Great question, Andy. I mean, definitely not. So when we are talking about AI, there is a lot of variables. So ROI in AI is actually maybe this is because of a lot of long discussion, maybe for another episode. But ROI in AI is kind of a different thing, right? Different variables and everything. But we're talking about the cost and everything, not only because of the prompt engineering is maybe one of the latest stages that we were talking about a solution for AI, right? So we are talking about infrastructure, we're talking about data management, we're talking about security, which is something one of the major things that it happens 2 weeks ago with a lot of news in terms of the US, Anthropic, OpenAI, and different kind of tools that we have now in our disposal for use. But there is a lot of things, right? There is a lot of things that actually can have impact in the cost of the AI purposes. What happens with a prompt engineer is when you have everything set up, right? When you have the architecture, when you have everything in place, data, security, and everything, even the machine learning, neural networks, and everything put in place. What happens with the prompt engineer is the cost. Again, the cost is have these instructions to go to your model and get these responses from. So what's going on with this is there is a lot of studies that actually make us understand that not only because of the mathematical and study and different capability that we have as a humans, showing us that actually if you are doing a really good job with this prompt engineering or these instructions, then you can consume less tokens from every model that you are using, right? So this is already proof, right? So but what happening is the companies are looking for these kind of people or person or professionals that actually know how to do this in order for them to get a better results, not only because of the results in terms of the data they are getting, but also because of the costs they are consuming, right? Because at the end, it's a lot of cost, right? So that is what we're moving forward with. But I think the role itself, like a prompt engineer, is somehow not disappearing because it's not disappearing itself, but also is like merging into the other roles that are creating the AI, right? So a skill as a prompt engineer is now an skill part of the new roles that we have in AI. So it's important for, of course, it's important for the companies, corporations, and against the consuming costs and everything. Absolutely.
So, for what I'm hearing from both of you guys, the problem isn't hiring a prompt engineer or someone that has those skills, is actually knowing what the problem is and how are they going to solve it. Do you agree?
That is actually that is a great assessment. I mean, one of the major things is right. You hire a prompt engineer, and at the end is the problem is not prompting, right? It's automation, and this is very for me as a consultant in AI for different companies in UAs and different countries is the company they don't know actually when it comes to the difference between we are consuming a lot for this model, or maybe we are not supposed to consume to this model. And this is not something about prompting engineering; it's about infrastructure, right? So it's a completely different thing. What is happening right now because of the, I think that AI is moving a lot, is going too fast that actually maybe the companies they are not getting the difference between automation and what is AI consuming. There's complete two different things, right? Automation is something or is a process that actually through a computing system you can do 100 times, 1,000, 1,000,000 times. Same. That's what happens with automation. With artificial intelligence, you have the availability or the capacity to think, let's say, think in order to make decisions based on a model again. And this decision that every single time you need to consume a decision with a model, they cost tokens, right? So that is the main difference between automation and what is happening with AI. One of the major things, me personally, when I'm doing consulting or audit in different companies with AI, is you don't need to do this with what you need is automation, right? They no need for consuming any model. What you need is just automation steps. And it happens sometimes is because automation is not even enough, right? So you need more capacity. Then the AI is a really good partner for different companies. So it depends, right? We are talking about architecture, we are talking about data, we are talking about security. So depends of the what actually you are looking for, what is the objective that are pursuing. But at the end, I'm seeing a lot of problems with the infrastructure, more like the prompting. Prompting is like the end of everything, right? So it's just like using what you put in place. So I think it's a lot of something we need to talk about when we are talking about the companies and how the structure and how you put in place AI.
You actually went ahead and took the words out of my mouth because my next question was about the structure of the data, the unrealistic expectations customers have. I've talked about this with Andre in the past, and it's basically like there is no real implementation or there is no real actual need for AI, but AI sells, right? So saying that we need an AI engineer or we use an AI engineer, it's is the trend right now, right? So that's a great assessment. And Andre, in your own words, I mean, how is your experience with talent? How do you guide clients to say, hey, you don't actually need an AI engineer. What you need is, for example, an automation engineer that maybe knows a little bit of prompting, or a cybersecurity engineer that maybe is familiar with the machine learning capabilities of a different system.
Yeah, I think it's all about like sitting down with the client and having these sort of conversations. I think what AI is doing, it's opening companies and people to think about innovate, automate. Automation has been, around for the longest time. It's possible to automate things without AI. But then again, AI, it's sort of opening the conversation to think about that as a thing that we have to do in today's world, right? I think, yeah, companies are questioning that and asking themselves whether they should be implementing any AI solutions or not. So I think when it comes to guiding a client, a company, what to do, it's about like sitting down, understanding what is the problem they're having and what is sort of the expectations they have. And I mean, people like Alejo that have, a strong business acumen, but also a strong knowledge of AI technologies can help a lot to guide these conversations because it's not about implementing an AI solution all the time. Maybe it's about something else.
That makes a lot of sense. And what should companies actually be building right now beyond the title prompt engineer or beyond like having an AI engineer? What is the combination of skills that we actually need for companies to be successful? We talked about automation, we talked about there's data security, cybersecurity, data. Are all those integral to building a robust company and having those engineers or those roles knowing a little bit more about machine learning and AI? Does that give them an edge? Would that be able to create new interesting products?
I think that, and this is a great segment of this conversation. Actually, I would like to go a little bit before of what happening with the companies in these terms, right? So it's really important to understand AI. Again, we are talking about this. It's maybe a hype, maybe it's because of the moment, maybe because of the we have a competitors doing things with AI. That's something that is already happening in the market, which is really important for the companies is to understand before to talk this about this topic is adoption is one thing and usage of AI is different thing. And I talk about this always in different tech talks I have in different universities and everything because what is so important because at the end usage of AI is just you as a company you are giving tools to the people in order to be more productive. But at the end you don't have measures, you don't have KPIs, you don't understand how this impact of the AI is giving you at the end to your company. When the different thing is the adoption, when you have adoption in AI, you have governance, right? So, which is totally different things. When you have governance in AI, you have governance in your data, you have governance in your security perimeters, for example, and you have a governance in your processes and then you have governance actually in what the people are doing and how productive they are. So that is different things. So adoption in AI is a culture thing and usage is just a task, let's say, right? So there is two different things, right? So many of the things is when you're talking about AI is understand or sometimes my task as a consultant in AI is understand what is going on with a company, right? So you are using AI or you are adopting AI. You are transforming into AI company, or what you are doing is just fill in the blanks with some kind of tools in order for you or for your people or the people that are working in your company in order to be more productive, let's say. Actually, you don't understand what is the impact at the end of the year. So this is what's happening right now. This is very regularly and very normal with every single company. So this is the normal thing, right? So we don't need to maybe create like a chaos, but is what happening, right? So when you have to adopt, when you're getting to adopt, then is when you have a structure, when you have steps, when you have processes against the AI, like adopt, and you have a plan, you have a roadmap, right? It is that is the good let's say the good path for a company in order for to process not only because you are getting a subscription to Microsoft 365 and then you have Copilot, then you are AI company, right? That is not how it works. So this might be the message we can have with this. And at the end, we are continue with the topic of the prompt engineering is you cannot have a great prompt engineering success results if you don't adopt AI in your company, right? So, but you have, I mean, if you have the usage of different tools with AI, you can have let's say decent results, but not maybe the 40 or 50% of the productive KPIs that we can have with the adoption of the AI, which already proved, right? So, and this is not something me, Alejo, saying this, is because a lot of studies, it's Anthropic saying, Google saying it, and it's also OpenAI saying it. So, what's going on?
No, this is very interesting. And I just want to add because you're actually going ahead of the questions that I wanted to ask. So this is very interesting. From my experience with customers and what I'm seeing in the industry is that everyone's trying to be creative. They're trying to use AI to move faster. They're trying to use
Yes.
AI to see what can be the next big thing, right? People using geo positioning now with maps. People using tools that learn about language and interpret different things, sign language. There's a lot of different things, right, that are very, very interesting right now. And you see in the market, it's a lot faster, as you said. I mean, it's the past 4 years have been a lot faster than the last 20 years
Yeah.
before that. So it's been crazy. And technology is going to keep moving forward and it's going to keep evolving. And
Yeah.
as you said, it's adoption. We need to adapt. We need to learn. We need to understand. And you mentioned something very, very interesting to me. It was the difference between automation and true AI. Do you really need AI or you just need a formal automation to help you with your day-to-day tasks? So that's very interesting. Just to do like a summary of this last topic is AI capability is not a standalone role, right? It's an ecosystem that combines different roles inside the companies, correct?
Mhm.
Both in
Yep.
agreement?
Yeah,
Agree.
and I would like to add actually that is very true, but actually it's important to say that AI is also digital transformation, as you say, and this is then a vision from the seaboard, right? Like the company itself needs to see this not because of okay, my competitor are using AI, they are using Copilot, they're using Gemini, and we are start using it just because we want to summarize all the emails that we have in a company. That is not actually maybe the really good usage of the AI, but it's because how productive the AI can impact my business, my clients, and my revenue, right? So those are the questions that actually the companies start to ask, not because that we need to summarize emails, right? So this is maybe just an usage, not again, not an adoption, because when you have adoption, even your services, even the products that you have as a company may change, and you need to change it because we are going to a wave or a lot of crazy changes. It happens in the Black Tuesday, like 3 weeks ago, right? So when we go from software to selfware, right? So when that now the machines are doing software. So think about that, right? So that this is a huge impact in our human history, right? So we are as a humans develop all the things that we have in terms of applications, software, quality, cybersecurity, and now the machines are doing it. So again, this is like a huge message to the companies in order to understand that AI is not because it's not like a commodity right now, but it's something that you need to take in consideration. Really, really curious at the same time. But I mean, it can impact your company or you can maybe have a bad or good impact depends on the AI or the adoption that you have for your business. So this may be something of the things that are changing the world right now.
That's good. And on your role, I mean, Andre, what's the difference and or what are you seeing right now in the industry?
So AI isn't just a LinkedIn job title. It seems like it's a company capability, right? So
That
yeah,
makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense because as Alejo was saying, I mean, it's basically adapt to make sure that your company is ready, AI ready, or for the future. We need to move fast, guys. I want to just pass to the closing part of our roundtable. What is next for the prompt engineer role, or if it's a role per se, what is next for prompt engineering in the industry?
I think I'm gonna copy Alejo's statement from before. I think prompt engineering will become part of an skill set in itself. Will become part of an skill set for engineers, but maybe not a role in itself. But who knows? That completely might change in the near future, right?
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Alejo, any final thoughts?
Wow, I don't want to be like party pooper on this, but I think prompt engineering will be completely referred to agentic, right? So and
Yeah,
maybe we can talk about this on a next episode because there's a lot of things about to talk about agentic technologies. But again, like Andre says, it's just a skill that you two have as an engineer. It doesn't matter if you are in AI or not, but you have this, you need to have this skill, right? So what happening is the agents and the agentic technologies will take care of this eventually. And we are not saying in the next couple of weeks, but obviously the next year, right? So, or maybe at the end of the year. And this is happening right now. So there is a lot of things that the agents are doing. They are doing things. We can talk about this even in a different episode, but actually the Paragon used for capture Maduro agents with AI. I mean, they are using everything for AI. So prompt engineer will be part of this for sure. This is not like actually a limitation. So we need to take care about this like the humans. We have the creativity in order for think how the prompt engineering could be not doing the task, which is different things, right? So I mean, us as a humans, we are in control of the creativity. We are in control of the how the processes are doing. We are in control of how the businesses are maybe or the transaction that we are doing as a businesses. But then the tasks are referring to agents. And I think this is a really, really important topic that we can just cover that up in a different episode. But yeah, that is my thoughts of yeah.
Thank you. So I think my final line would be, given what you both said, and I think I agree, is that companies that win won't be the ones that hire more engineers or AI engineers or prompt engineers, will be the ones that are building systems where prompts are just a component to make something more robust. So I think that
Yeah.
that's my conclusion, guys. And I thank you for your time. It was very, very insightful. Alejo, I mean, you've been in the industry for a long time, so of course you know a lot more about it than I do. So thank you for your comments,
Absolutely.
for sharing your knowledge as well, and Andrea as well. I mean, your technical recruiting side of the business, what the industry is looking for, what the engineers per se are showing in the resumes. It's also very insightful. So I thank you both for being here with us, and I'll see you in some other roundtable sessions. Have a good one, guys.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.